Okay. Good evening. Warm greetings to every one of you who is joining us today on the day 4, the Disruptive Parenting Summit. Welcome on board. This is Amaka, your host at the Disruptive Parenting Summit. It's 30 days of dealing with different aspects of parenting, teaching and learning, relearning and unlearning, just to make sure that the next generation is preserved. I mentioned earlier on, before today, that the soul of the next generation is in serious contention. I repeat, the soul of the next generation is in serious contention, and we cannot just allow matters to slide as though we do not know. There's so much going on in the life of the 21st century child and children. We must all arise and build, because our children must become champions and our kids must become kids. Also, at the Disruptive Parenting Academy and Summit, we are advocating that parenting must be collaborative. Hence, we have lined up incredible masterminds for these 30 days who will be leading us through on the journey of securing the next generation. This is Disruptive Parenting Summit. Today, I'm going to be taking us on child mental health. I'm going to be taking us on child mental health. Okay, like I mentioned, my name is Amaka. I'm the creator and the founder of the Disruptive Parenting Academy, and I am also the author of the Disruptive Parenting book. Hey, I'm excited also to be the convener of the Disruptive Parenting Summit. This is the first edition, 2022, and it's going to be lasting up until the 27th of May. Meanwhile, have I wished you a very happy new month to you and everyone who you love and who loves you. All right, like I said, we are going to be looking at child mental well-being. Child mental well-being. Please, if you are in there on YouTube, help us to like my page, like my channel, click the subscribe button, and make sure that you turn on the bell so that once we come on, you will be notified. All right, and please share, and share. There are too many people who have need for what we are doing here today, and they have to be empowered. So don't keep this to yourself only. Share to everyone you love. In fact, share to your friends, your family, and also share to your enemies. Who knows? When they learn and they get empowered and they get expanded awareness, they will behave better. Again, today we are dealing with child mental well-being. So I'm going to start by sharing, if you live in Nigeria or Africa, in this side of the world, when you talk about mental health, it is equated to insanity. Right? So when you mention that somebody have a need for mental health, it is assumed that person has had some kind of psycho issues, and the person has gone mad, literally, and so is not a therapy kind of thing. It's not something that you need to consult for. It's just something that you need to see a psychiatrist immediately. But no, mental well-being or mental health is not synonymous with having a psychiatric condition. Okay, so let me establish that while we go on. So being mentally well means that your mind is in order, functioning in your best interest. So when we say if somebody is mentally sound, if somebody is in a state of mental well-being, that means the person's mind is functioning optimally. The person can feel, the person can think, the person can also act in the best interest of that person and in the interest of everyone who is also around him or her. Right? So when we say when we narrow it down to the children, that means your child can think, your child can feel, and your child is acting like a regular human being, is not acting weird, so to speak, right? So it's a state where the child or every child or children are at the state where they can think, where they can feel, and where they can act, okay, in the best interest of themselves, their family, teacher, the classmates, or wherever else they find themselves, right? So, meaning that it's a state of mind where you are able to think, feel, and you can also be creative. So, particularly children in that state where they're supposed to be creative. Okay, so that's being in a state of mental well-being. Mental wellness also comes from feeling balanced, connected to others, and ready for life's challenges. So when you feel balanced, when you're not threatened by any small thing, when you're not at the state of anxiety, all right, when you're not overtaken by fear excessively, all right, so when your life is balanced, then you are in a good mental state, right? Mental well-being goes hand in hand with physical health. When you can eat, you can sleep at a regular time. So there is time when you're working with children, for instance, at the stage where you're grooming them, there's supposed to be a regular bedtime. So, for instance, in our home, we're insisting that 9 p.m. is bedtime for children, right? That's 9 p.m. West African time. That way, they're able to get some kind of a level of sleep from that time. See, somewhere around 5 a.m., particularly if you live in Lagos, at least they would have gotten 8 hours sleep. Children are supposed to get at least 10 to 13 hours sleep. So if you're able to get at least between 8 and 11 hours sleep, then you are good, right? So being able to go to bed at a regular time, eat at a time, wake up at a regular time, just having some kind of routine around your life, building that routine into the life of your children. You are enabling their mental health. You are enabling their mental health, right? Okay. So I'm going to be sharing with us a couple of things that we need to be looking at when we are helping our children to make sure that they are in a good mental well-being or in a good mental state. Okay. And usually we say that being born in the times that we live in is not a joke, right? Being a child presently in the now, suddenly, for some of us who have been in the family life industry and working with children for years, there was a time we kept advocating that children must be given space, children must be allowed to go out, particularly play outdoors and all of those things. And then suddenly the COVID disruptions came and hit everybody. So we moved from trying to make sure that they go outside to play so that they can be creative and all of that. And then we now started battling with ensuring that everybody's first alive before they can do other things. And then it looked like it was a joke. Maybe something will stop in 1 week or in 1 month. I took on and on. And in some countries and nations and cities, it took up to 2 years. Now, this is post-COVID. Another kind of disruption, because habits are built. Some school of thought believe that habits are built in 21 days. Another believe that is 40 days, right? Now, whether you are of the school of thought that is 21 days or you are the school of thought that is 40 days, both school of thought we are beaten to it, because we're not talking about days here, we're talking about weeks on end, months, and then into years. All right. Now, when that was done, children, started learning online, started all kinds of things happened. And then maybe this is a child or these are children we are trying to make sure, because they're digital natives, we're trying to help them to regulate how long they stay online or they stay before the screen. And now they are learning process or procedure or tool now became sitting before the screen. All right. And then some of them, a good number of parents are not even taking time to think, okay, now that these children are back to school, what's going on in their mind? So a lot of parents are also still thinking, my child used to come first, take first position, especially in this side of the world. So he used to take first position. He used to do this. He used to do that. He used to do the other one. They are not taking attention. You're paying attention to the disruptions. They're not paying attention to what probably had happened to the mental state of each child whilst they were in COVID. Whilst the only thing they did was wake up in the morning, eat, maybe do some kind of class, sit before the screen, and then play over and over and over and over again. Okay, so that's not very healthy. You want to check, you want to be sure, you want to pay attention that some parents is even now that we are back, let me even have a breathing space. The children are back to school. They're no longer at home. So they're back to school. What is going on during the classroom? During that time that they're in class, what's going on? How is their relationships like? Did you pay attention while they were at home, whether any one of them was abused? If that one was abused, have they gotten help? Or it's just about going back to school and giving you a breathing space? Those are the things some of us we might need to pay attention to as we journey through these post-COVID experiences. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing a couple of things to us that we need to pay attention to as we build as we build a comfortable environment, as we help our children to develop and stay in a good mental health, mental well-being state, in a good state of mental well-being. Okay, the way a child thinks, feels, or acts, I want to pay attention to it. The way a child thinks, feels, or acts. These three things, every parent or everyone who is working with children must always pay attention to. Because what happens is that immediately anything happens or truncates that feeling, that growth, they are innocent. And you begin to see that a child that used to smile, suddenly, wants to be by themselves and frowning and throwing tantrums consistently. You might need to check it and be sure and find out what is going on with that boy or that girl. All right. So, how can you promote good mental health? That's just what I stopped by to help us to understand or realize in this period as we run through today the day 4 of the Disruptive Parenting Academy. Tomorrow is going to be a blast, right? Because we're going to be hosting someone I love a lot, and believe me, it's going to blow your mind completely. All right, if you are on the group, you are going to get the details as to how to join. All right, so yes, be aware of the things you say or how you say them. Be aware, be sure, pay attention. If you want your child to live in a good mental well-being, in a good state of mental well-being, you need to pay attention to what you say and how you say them. You need to pay attention to what you say and how you say them. All right? It is critical to what must happen and how we must help our children to become what they have to be, right? Take clear and positive action in relating with the child. Be positive and intentional. Be positive. Be intentional. Be present. All right? Be positive. Be intentional. Be present. Every time you have to talk with these children, you have to relate with them. Be positive. Be intentional. All right? And then the next thing also all need to do to enable their mental well-being is to ensure that we create a positive environment. Unfortunately, a lot of homes are very toxic. The COVID helped us to expose a lot of those things. You know, couples who used to wake up in the morning and fly out, and then in the evening they come back. They were housemates. They were roommates. They were housemates. They woke up in the morning and they managed in that period, maybe 2 hours that they need to have a conversation, eat and go to bed, wake up the next morning and zoom out. But when COVID came, everybody was meant to be in one place, in one space. And so everybody exposed their toxicity. All right. In recent times, I began to understand that really couples cannot be housemates. Or if they are housemates, they are not enviable. They are not comfortable. I know people who I shared room with at one point or another while in school. Incredible relationships, right? So if you are in the same room with your spouse and you are not best of friends, then you are enemies cohabiting. That's who you are. That's why all kinds of drama are springing up. All right, because there were people who became roommates, and they eventually built great relationships. If you're not doing that, you are not just ordinary roommates. It is worse than being just roommates. It is, you know how it is. It is not, it's not a good place to be. It's too toxic. And then to think that there are children who are raised in that kind of environment. It affects their mental health. You might think that they are children, but no, the fact that they're not able to even walk up to mommy or to walk up to daddy to say, why are you like this? Why are you doing like this? And then they need clarity. They can get clarity. They can ask you that's their father, and they can ask you that their mother, because you will yell, you will raise your voice, you will make noise, you will shut them down. And so here they are in the place they're supposed to call home, but they are not comfortable. So parents must intentionally create an enabling environment. Otherwise, you are the one damaging your children's mental health by yourself, by the way you behave, by the way you carry yourself. You raise or you don't raise. But we need to pay attention to those immediately. All right, next. Right? It is important that we create daily activities. If you are a parent, create daily activities where you and your child, where you and your son, your daughter, that is something you do together that enable you. Father, we thank you. Okay, so I'm excited about that. That's who I am, right? So let's go ahead. I want to pay attention to that you need to create that daily routine where you and your children, where you and your sons, where you and your daughters, right? You have daily activities what you do together, what you know what you will do for your children, it will help them develop healthy communication skills. It will help them to relax. It will make them comfortable. It will make them to express. It will make them to develop better. It will help them to be able to, if there is something they need to talk about. Why people play, that's actually when they air out, subconsciously, they will voice out, they will behave in a way that goes to say, I am happy or I am not happy. I need attention or I do not need attention. Or I need clarity in this, I need clarity in that, I need clarity in the other one. Right? So please let's pay attention to that. It also makes them to feel secured, and it helps them to learn how to express their feelings. In the past, you realize that we have a lot of men who were taught to be a man. And one of the thing that we're told is that men do not express emotions. So men don't cry. Men don't show any sign of weakness. Unfortunately, they were cut short because every human being have the capacity to express emotions, whether it's negative emotion or positive emotion. At least somebody should be able to say, this thing you're doing to me, I like it or I don't like it. But if you create a routine, consistent activities that you have to do with these children daily, it helps them to be able to also develop some strength and feel secured in your home, right? Have quiet time together. Have quiet time together, all right? If you are a Christian, it will help you a lot. Please have quiet time together when you pray together, when you, and in fact, to encourage, if you are able to host a daily family quiet time. One thing it will help your child to know is that you are not the Lord of the ring, particularly the men. You are not the Lord of the ring. There is somebody you to respect. There is somebody you to care for. There is somebody you submit to. So it will teach them submission. It will help them to know that Daddy is not proud. Mommy is not proud. That she respects God. He honors God. And then it helps them to develop the meditation skill, where they're able to stay by themselves, where they're able to unwind, where they're able to think through, where they're able to stay by themselves and be able to, exhale, right, and pour out. So it's an amazing time for children. It usually help them to learn, all right? It improves their attention span and helps them to learn meditation. So maybe you need to start a regular family quiet time, a regular meditation time with your son or with your daughter or with your children. So, in the times that we live, we have children who are already hyper. So they're easily distracted. You want to do stuff that will help them to concentrate, to focus. If you help them to deal with that distraction as well, when they go to school, they will do better. All right? It helps them also to avoid bad behavior escalation. It helps them to avoid bad behavior escalation. So if it's a child that you normally we have quiet time with, and then you get into that quiet space, and then the child is, is hyper. The child is not able to meditate, or they were not able to be themselves or stay in that state of quietness and calmness as long as they used to be. You can begin to query that and find out, are they healthy? Is there anything bothering them? Would they want to speak? You find out what is going on in his or her life. So don't just jump out, find time each day, each week, build a routine of having a quiet time with your children. Another thing also is, if you want to help your children build their mental health, please make it a point of duty to celebrate them. Intentionally celebrate them. And please do not celebrate in group, so that you just say, hey, I love you guys. Once they will hear that, once they will appreciate that, if you mention their names and you say, Frank, you did this, and truly that was incredible of you, that will register more. All right? Please do all you can to say, praise them, praise their baby steps. So when you have taught them or you have set a goal, every bit of their achievement towards the main goal, please celebrate it. Let them feel loved. Let them feel appreciated. Let them know that what they have done is deeply appreciated, that is not taken for granted. Okay? Please pay attention to that. It's incredible. In fact, everybody wants to be loved and deeply appreciated. Praise their small and baby steps as they make progress in life. Refer to the previous achievements they have made. So if this child, for instance, in their academics had been an A+ kid, and something happened along the line, they are now an A or a B+. You'll be able to refer to, hey, I trust you. I know you have the capacity, because XYZ time, you are an A+ kid. So you can repeat it over and over and over again. What do I need to do to help you to achieve that? You can have conversation. All right? Boost your child's self-worth. Boost your child's self-esteem. Okay? Help them. Children with healthy self-esteem have positive vibes and they are confident. There is nobody. In fact, low self-worth and confidence don't exist in the same place. I repeat, low self-worth and confidence, self-confidence, they don't coexist. No, they don't coexist. If you have a healthy self-worth, you will be confident. If you have issues with your self-worth, you will be intimidated. Intimidation or feeling intimidated is a sign that a child is having issues, and it may just be affecting their mental state. Okay? It shows that they are loved and that they are accepted. Every time you boost their confidence, every time you help them know that, hey, you are the best designers original, you are doing well, I'm super proud of you, well done for doing XYZ and for achieving that. You are helping them to boost their confidence. You are helping them. All right? Please, let's pay attention to that. Every parent needs to do that for the well-being of their children. Every parent, right? It also enables their creativity. It enables their creativity. It enables their curiosity. If they know that they can ask you and you will respond without shaming them, without making them feel less of a human being, then they will always come to you to ask questions, because particularly if your children are Gen Zers and Generation Alpha, they are curious. They ask questions. So if any parent that succeeds in getting a Gen Zer or somebody who is a Generation Alpha not to ask questions, you have damaged that child, because curiosity comes to them naturally. Boldness, audacity is natural to them. So if you have created an environment or you have damaged a child to the point where they lose it, then there is fire on the mountain, like they will say when we were growing up. All right. The next thing we need to do also is to actively listen. Actively listen. When you are talking with your children, don't be on the phone. No, don't be on the phone. particularly that time that you are creating, that is a one-on-one with your son or one-on-one with your daughter. Get your eyes off the phone. In fact, what is recommended is that nobody, no member of the family takes the phone to the bedroom. You can get a basket or a bowl where everybody retires their phone at the sitting room or on the dining table before they go to bed. It is not advisable that phones enter the room. In fact, all gadgets. All right. So listen with apt attention. Listen, making eye contact. Listen, making eye contact. Listen with apt attention. Listen like you know that you are with a being and not a thing. Listen with respect. Listen with dignity. Listen with honor. Listen without making them feel that they are disturbing you. You can create that time where once in a week, you can sit with each child to just deal with their personal issues. But to leave them by themselves and run out every morning and come back every night, run out the next morning is not advisable. All right? Then do your best to answer all their questions. I usually tell parents, if you're not able to answer each question, the worst thing that can happen to any parent is to lie to the child. So if you're not able to answer any question at any point in time, tell them to give you some time. Go back and find out. Call a parent, call a therapist, ask Google, get what the answer is and what the right response should be to that particular question, and come back to it at the appointed time. Do not leave your children without, hanging in the air, because they will ask another person, and that person they might ask might be damaging. And we not forget, I shared that story in my book. If you have not gotten the Disruptive Parenting book, I don't know what you're waiting for. All right. But I shared that story in my book where we had a conversation with a 6-year-old. At that point, that girl was 13, but she started being abused by her driver from 6. Right? And then what happened? She had come in one day and she had asked her daddy, what is sex? And her father had said, don't ever mention that word again in this family. Blah, 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 blah. They are Christians. They're a religious home. Because that is not really the expression of Christianity. What's the next thing that happened? This girl had had that, unknown to the parents, that this girl had had that conversation with her classmates, and she has boasted and said, I'm going to ask my parents, and then they'll tell me what to do. So she then came and asked her father, and her father shut her out. She went and asked her mother said, didn't you hear what your father just said? All right. From there, that girl couldn't sleep. She was thinking of how to face her mates next morning, and it was not this parent that used to take her to school. So the next morning, her driver came to take her to school and observed that she was behind herself or beside herself. And he kept asking her, kept pestering her. And she went and she told the man her ordeal. And then the driver said, I am going to tell you if you promise not to tell anybody. So because her dad had already warned her and her mother collaborated, it was easy to keep secret. I tell parents, never make your children keep secret. And I tell children, anything you have to keep secret is dangerous. It's not meant to be. Anything you have to do secretly have the possibility of harming you. All right? Light exposes darkness. So children, in fact, no human being is supposed to be keeping secret. Our life in the inside and outside is supposed to be the same if you live a life of integrity. Long story short, this driver began to abuse this girl. And then religious parents who didn't want to answer her questions did not know until this girl turned 13 and she had been messed up totally by the time she came to our office. So it's critical that you respond. Answer all your children's questions. All. Answer correctly. Answer age-appropriate. Answer with age-appropriate content. If you do not know what content is appropriate, please reach out and get help. There are different, particularly, like I mentioned, in sex education, there is age-appropriate answer for 0 to 5 years. There is age-appropriate response to 6 years to 9 years. And then there's age-appropriate for 10 years to 13 years, and then 13 years till the end of teenage, right? So there is answer with age-appropriate content, all right? Resist the temptation of shaming them. I have said it before. Talking things through can also calm them down. So don't be in the habit of shutting them down. Don't be in that habit. Stick to commitments and routines. This is very critical. I mentioned this in my book, The Disruptive Parenting. One thing you must do is that you keep the routines. Keep the routine. When you have made a promise to your children, please fulfill the promise. In that book, I called it Parents Obey Yourselves. Parents obey yourselves. If you're a parent and you make a promise, keep to the promise. If you say, don't, and then parents can be interesting. You cannot say, I will buy you a jet when you know you cannot afford a jet. Make promises that you can fulfill. When a child is not doing something like they should, don't say, if you try it again, I will kill you, when you know you're not going to kill him or her. You can also set some negatives in motion if you use those kind of heavy words. So what do? Be intentional about communication or with communication. If you're going to be carry out any kind of discipline, you would have had that communication, you would have set the rule, you would have said, if this happens, X, Y, Z, they happen. And if that happens, have another conversation and then carry out what the instructions we have given, right? When you want to say something, say what is reasonable. Obey yourselves. Don't say, I'm going to turn off the TV at 8:30, and I'm going to turn off the TV at 8:30, and at 11 o'clock, you are still before, the TV is still on. All right? Don't say, if you do X, Y, Z, you're not going to follow us to the playground or to the mall. And then when you're going to the playground, you still carry the person after they have flaunted the rule. At the end of the day, you will be presenting yourself as a dishonest person, somebody who is untrue, somebody who is not trustworthy. All right? So that affects the mental state of your children, because I'm not able to say, hey, why is my father saying the same thing? And my teacher is saying one thing, my teacher in church is saying another, my teacher in school is saying another. You're confusing the child. You're not allowing them to learn appropriately, right? So please build routines and follow through on your routines. I've mentioned keep promises. Create opportunities to play with them. Remember the other time I said create an activity. So that activity could be cooking together with them, just being in the kitchen, doing chores with them and all that. Then this one is play with them. Whatever play they love, or whatever play the two of you love, play together. It will help them to develop their creativity, right? It will also help them to express their feelings. All right? Be a positive role model. Be a positive. This one is critical. Do not say one thing and do another. Do not say one thing and do another. If you are asking your children to knock your door before they come in, please knock their door before you go in. Be a role model. Say sorry when you are wrong. Because if you don't say sorry when you're wrong and you mandate them to say sorry when they are wrong, you're confusing them. Their brain is still developing. You're damaging their brain. Show them that when people are wrong, they repent, or they are repentant, and they apologize. Show them that when people do well, they are celebrated. Show them that when people are hurt, they can cry, because they are human beings. They're not inanimate. Also show them that human beings are lovable. So show them some love. Groom them to be lovers as well. Appreciate them and teach them how to appreciate others. Demonstrate the acts of love to others in their presence. Give in their presence. Carry them along in your giving. That way, you will damage selfishness naturally. All of this whole thing is in the mind. Remember, it's about how you think, how you feel, and how you act. How you feel, how you think, and how you act. Once they are balanced, you are in a healthy mental well-being. You are in a healthy state of mental well-being. So you can take actions that profit you and profit others. Okay, so all of these things that are interconnected and interrelated and related, and is critical that we do not just live life as though, it doesn't matter. What we say it doesn't matter today will become matters arising tomorrow. It could be difficult for your child not to be talking to you. Yes, this is where I will round off for today. Sometimes something is happening and you're asking a child and he's not talking. So sometimes parents will beat, they will yell, they will do all kinds of things because the child is not talking. The truth is, that time that thing happened was not when you lost the child. You have lost that child since. You are no longer in his life. You are no longer in her life. So if they are not talking, it's not their fault. You have missed it a long time ago. And you're raising your voice is not going to change it. What do you need to do? Get somebody that they can talk to. Get somebody they're comfortable with. Get somebody that they love enough to open up to. If there's nobody there in the immediate, please seek the help of a therapist. Sometimes because of our training, therapists have the skill that creates an environment where people can open up because they feel trusted. Or there's that atmosphere of trust in the air. There's that confidence. There's that reassurance that, hey, guy, I love you and I'm here to help you. Anybody who does not feel loved will not open up to you, including your child. That's why in certain families, they could even be talking to a house help more than they're talking to a father or a mother, because it's the house help that they see. If you are too busy, when the chips are down, they are not going to talk to you. And so it's not something, I am your father, you must talk to. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. People don't open up until they feel secured, until they feel loved, until they feel appreciated. And they could be going through a whole lot. And because they have zeroed in their mind to say, my daddy doesn't care, my mommy doesn't care, there's no amount of raising of voice that will help you to get them back on track. You need help. And that help that you need might just be outside your home. So seek the help of a therapist. All right? Okay, so at this point, we're rounding it off for today. Make sure, with these points, I want you to go home and look around you. Look around that boy that you say is a stubborn boy. That girl that you say that she suddenly changed, particularly if it's your house help. At what point did they feel rejected? At what point did they feel shamed? So because you shaved them, you have shaved them in time past, nobody wants to be shamed the second time. So in their head, this person will shame me one more time. So I'm not going to give her that opportunity. They could be dying and you're not able to help them. They could be going through an abuse and you can't reach them. The first thing to do is at least establish communication. And to do that, you must create an atmosphere conducive. You must let them know that it's okay to feel, to think the way they think is authentic, to think the way they are thinking, to feel the way they are feeling, and to behave in a certain way. And then this conversation can start from there. All right? Okay, so it's an amazing time with you this evening. Please share the video, invite others. Let's get this thing done. This is day 4, done and dusted, this Disruptive Parenting Summit, day 4. Tomorrow is going to be a blast. Same time, 6 p.m. tomorrow's evening. Thank you very much. Remember, please share, click the subscribe button and turn on this notification bell so that you can know whenever we come on. Again, the time for tomorrow is 6 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a lovely, 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 lovely evening.